Peace through strength simply means peace brought about through war. And we know that that doesn't happen. There's a singer called Michael Fronte who says in one of his songs, you can bomb the world to pieces, but you can't bomb the world to peace. Now, we all know this as being true. However, the so-called frontrunners in this campaign seem to adhere to the line that, well, you have to bomb the world to pieces in order to get to peace. So we have to see, well, this is our opportunity to stand up for our integrity, to stand up and express within the mechanism that we have, which is called a democratic process, to really show the parties, both parties and all politicians, Congress and the administration, just exactly where it is that the American people stand. Because there's a lot of hearsay at the moment. I was on some radio shows this morning, and as lovely as the hosts were to me, they kept saying, oh, but you know what, the American people are so stupid. The American people just don't know. They're just so slow. They're not going to get anything done. They don't know what's good for them. And I'd like to really say no. Actually, no. The American people are not dumb. The American people are very well aware now of what's going on. I can really imagine. I was in the UK in 2001 after September the 11th, and I can really imagine what it was like to listen to the rhetoric and the build-up to war. The administration is feeding that line. Congress is repeating it. The media is repeating it. It's on every news channel. Some of us may have already worked in the peace movement and understand that actually there's another way, as Dennis Kucinich knew. But, I can really understand why it was that America really felt that we had to go to war in Iraq. I can understand that. When everybody's saying it, everybody's thinking it, everybody's repeating it, and day in and day out, you get this connection between Iraq and 9/11. Between Iraq and Al-Qaeda's role in 9/11, between Iraq and them wanting to kill us, because if we don't kill them over there, they'll kill us over here. All of that bombardment. We have to allow ourselves and give ourselves permission to overcome what we know as a hideous part of our history and really claim what our future is. And our future is something new. Our future is strength through peace. It's about supporting a candidate who's always been right on the issues, but who doesn't condemn the American people for choosing the way that they chose. We have to have that. We need a truth and reconciliation process among ourselves. We've got to believe in each other again. I really believe in you. When I came over to America, I didn't think I would believe in the American people, because I was fed the line that the administration spat to everyone, that said, damn you, the rest of the world. We're America, we can do everything. We can go into Iraq, we can bomb, we can do all that. It's legal because we voted for it. The rest of the world understood otherwise, but unfortunately my government too went in. When I was in the peace demonstrations, our government went in as well. So we have to take collective responsibility, and we need together now to change the rhetoric, to change the level of thinking, and to move this country into such a clear, new, bright future that we'll really acknowledge that this is America, and this really is that shining city on the hill that we really dream for it to be. And the way that we do that is by truly not only believing in the American dream, but creating it. And the way we create it is by involving ourselves in this democracy, by reclaiming this democracy, and being the people who really involve themselves in the process. We can do it, we can take this back. We don't need hundreds of millions of dollars to do it. We stand on the side of truth, and we stand on the side of integrity, and we stand on the side of justice and liberty and freedom and hope and bravery and courage. That's America, and that's who we all are together, and we can really do this. And the question is viability and electability. Now, I'm sure many of you in the room will have said, I'm thinking of voting for Kucinich, or I am going to vote for Kucinich, I support Kucinich, and then you might have had the rebuff. Yeah, I love him. He stands on all the right things, but you know what? He'll never win. So why are you wasting your vote? Any of you heard any of that? Right. Well, that's nonsense, isn't it? Because we know that when you stand on the side of truth and you really resonate with people, we really need now the courage of the people to resonate back. This has nothing to do with Dennis. This has to do with whether we listen to those mind control, police propaganda, Washington propaganda voices that come in through all of the media. Dennis Kucinich stood against the war, but of course he'll never win, because he's just on the fringe. He's this far right wing, far left wing even. What's that? That's my right wing. This is my left wing. Here's my far left wing candidate. He's fringe, he's off mainstream, everything. No. We had a number of newspaper reports last week that showed or expressed how Dennis actually stood on the ground with the American people on all of the issues of trade, of healthcare, on war and peace, on the environment. Dennis has those mainstream positions. Cancel NAFTA, withdraw from the WTO, have trade conditioned on workers' rights, human rights, and environmental quality principles. Have a healthcare system that works for the people, giving them a universal, single-payer, not-for-profit healthcare system, Medicare for all. Let's do that. End the war in Iraq, embodied in legislation, House Resolution 1234, the plan to end the Iraq War. Bring our troops home and transition in an international security and peacekeeping force that will move in and hold Iraq and secure it. Okay, now democracy is a grassroots movement. It's not an elitist activity. We all have the right to vote. We all have the right to engage in it. We all have the right to mobilize our friends, our family, our community, our colleagues. And it's up to you now to go and spread the word. It's up to you to have that confidence and give yourself that permission to go out there and vote for yourself, because you are worth it. And your country is worth it, and your constitution is really worth it. So stand up for it. This is about reclaiming the independence of this country. We can't have this country going into this on the same line as it is, either under the Democrats or under the Republicans. The mentality of the front runners is the same. Preemption, unilateralism, first strike, all options on the table with respect to Iran. No, there's no nuclear weapons systems plans. There's nothing that the IAEA, no, there's no marginalized voice of Dennis Kucinich, by the way. But he was right. Last week he was proven right. Thank God in the newspapers, all of the stories exploded that the administration knew that way back in, what was it, 2002, 2003, Iran abandoned its nuclear weapons program, doesn't pose any threat. And yet the front runners have said, all options on the table, talking about nuclear war, talking about having bunker busters, exploding into the nuclear reactors, which are literally for domestic energy. And what would that do? That would be like having Chernobyl all over again. That would put radiation and dust into the atmosphere, traveling hundreds and thousands of miles all around, polluting not only the environment, but killing people, and also causing long-term effects, health effects. We have to really stand for a new level of thinking. Einstein said something to the words of the effect that a problem cannot be solved using the same line of thinking that created it. We need a different line of thinking. And we're not going to get that from these Washington elitists. We're going to get that from the people, because we know what resonates in the truth. We know where the power is. The power is with the people, a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Claim it. You elect your federal representatives at a local level. And I think that this is where we really have to be very, very serious about who we're electing. We don't elect and re-elect people who've shown bad behaviour. We don't reward bad behaviour. If people aren't voting our way, we get rid of them. That's the power of the people. And we really have to do that. And if people in this room want to run, you don't need permission to run for office. You just go and do it. Knock on the doors and make your face known and start doing something different. This is really the power of government, but more and more we're told, well, there's no place for us. You know, government is this big looming body that controls us. Exactly. That's exactly what we've got at the moment. We need to change the system. We need to change the power structure. So it's not people working for the government, as we have at the moment, which I can really, see with the comments that you're making. We need government that works for the people, and it will only happen when the people raise their voice and elect who it is that represents their interests.